Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, I think you might not have heard much of what I said because of all this craziness popping up on my screen. Um, but what's good? It's your boy, and it's my birthday, so I wanted to at least get this video out because I hate like saying I'm gonna do daily content and then it come out at really weird times and stuff. Plus, I only have one show that really came out today that I talk about, so let's get right into it. This week's episode gives us the conclusion of when you have a sister that's in love with you and she's not really your sister, what do you do and how do you feel about it? And our main character has decided that he feels the same way I would feel. So I was kind of on board the whole time with this week's episode because to go from treating you like someone that I truly care about and is family to then being like, "Oh yeah, no, that's my girlfriend." Like, nah, bro. Like, I'm good on all that, you know? Like, oh yeah, that's my love of my life. Like, no, I treated you like a sister all of your life, so that's how I see you now, and that's how I'll probably see you for quite some time, right? So they took that route. I was like, wow, they actually didn't go fantasy with it, you know? Like, I mean, I guess there's a lot of people like it could be go half and half, right? Excuse me. Birthday yawn. It could go half and half, right? Like it could have went like they people would have taken this situation and maybe would have saw her as someone else, including since a tiny little kid, he had this feeling that he was her bigger brother. Like that's what he was. That's what he was trying to come off as, and you know that's just how it was. So for it to be just completely switched and altered up, I feel like was a weird transition for the show. Like I understand where they were going with it and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, does that does that stand for like everybody? Like, does everybody in this world feels like that he should have took this chance to be with her and stuff like that? Like, you could tell me what you feel. I'm not gonna judge you for it, but like I said, the main character definitely took the route that I would have took in this instance, and there's nothing bad about that. I mean, just seeing someone as one way and being hard to take them out of seeing them that way. It's just kind of the feeling I got from all this. Not only that, every time we kind of get these, situations where we have main characters in these like power positions, like what people would really want to happen and stuff like that. We get these instances of, the real thought process behind it. Like, oh, if I do this, can I even have a public life anymore? Like, people have seen you with her. People have, met your father and mother, and like, oh yeah, that's our son and daughter. Like, that's what you're known as. So to then flip the strip, flip the script and be like, oh yeah, that's also my girlfriend now. Like, it just wouldn't look that good in the public eye regardless. I mean, you clearly don't care if you're going down that road, like what public thinks. So another thing is you should be happy. So I mean, if you could find a way to look past someone who was already your sister and look past that aspect, then I mean, go for it. And in the case of if you guys are both happy, then that's like the key of everything, right? It's just some happiness in some regard. I did not think he was doing that. Um, but yeah, overall, this episode, oh my god, he's going in. It was pretty interesting overall. I'm looking forward to seeing like if people, like me, guessed that it would probably be the sister, and because it was her, like I thought it was gonna be a lot more straightforward, as in like, oh yeah, I'm not your stepsister or any of that. I'm your real blood sister, and I love you and stuff like that. You know, I was like, oh, that's what we're doing here, huh? And they kind of dialed it back a little bit, which is cool and all. Like, you know, I'm not your real sister, and if you fall in love with me, it's not like that bad and this and that. So I understand what they're trying to go for. It's just the fact that when we see all of this happening, it leads to the thought process of, what about every other girl? Like, what about all those other girls that you kind of just leave behind, right? Or that you're going to get in a relationship and then kind of just forget whatever you had with them, you know, or not even forget it, but move on more or less, because you can't have them all, seemingly. Like, the way that the show is portrayed, he won't wind up with all of them. Sure, he got double servings, but that was more or less because he was sick, and you know, he's not going to be able to like get away and stuff. Like the girl who wants to be a dog, she's like, oh, he's defenseless, his defenses are down, you know, like, we should move in and attack him now. So that's the type of stuff that kind of gets me, I want to say, kind of feel like there could be a season 2, like that there might be more of this story, because they also said that, you know, they're only like midway through summer or something like that. So the overall schooling aspect of all this hasn't even really gotten that far. So to know that it's kind of in the air where it goes, right? It's kind of in there if it's going to bring it back, and he's going to have to deal with all these girls and maybe add some more that are even crazier. And the other thing at the end was, I was definitely expecting the sister to be like all the other girls, have some weird thing that he considered weird, and she did. She loved to go out in public and take pictures of herself, so that was kind of her thing, which, to be fair, I dated someone like this, and I mean, I guess her pictures weren't as extreme, but I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, it still comes down to the fact that it's his sister, so I think that's like the worst part for him. But yeah, overall, that was sick. I just used his own attack against him and hit him with a lot of damage. So we'll see what all transpires after all this kind of hits the fan, now that we've seen everything up to this point now. Not a lot of people have shown me that this show is, you know, going to continue on. It felt like this show was going to end right here and there with like a definitive end, but it kind of didn't, right? So I really don't know what to expect. I definitely appreciate everybody who showed up to even give this video some support. It's the B-Day, so I'm gonna go out and try to enjoy myself. I hope you guys have an amazing day, though, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I definitely hope to talk to you in the next one. So with that, peace.